Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda. I'm a neurodivergent woman. I have autism, ADHD, aphantasia, and a rare memory disorder called SDAM. I talk about all these on my channels. I have different playlists, so go check them out. So it's probably going to be an Amanda Rambles video. I went out of town this weekend and it was an interesting experience. I had a good time. I was visiting with friends that I've known for 15 years. I don't have very many friends that I've had in my life for that long. I've talked a little bit about autism and friendship levels. A lot of times, autistic people have a hard time kind of understanding where they are in a friendship, like how close they are to somebody else. I know for a lot of autistics, and this isn't everyone, but for a lot of autistic people, we can get close to someone really fast and consider them like a really close friend while they aren't thinking of you as like an acquaintance or just like a friend, but not like a really super close friend. And so this couple I've known for 15 years, and I feel like I'm really good friends with them, but not as close friends as, like, you would say, a best friend kind of thing, right? Our kids have grown up to each other. They've literally known each other their entire lives. I have twins and she has twins. And so our kids are kind of like all best friends with each other, which is really special. But they live 3 hours north of us now. And so we don't get to see them very often. So we went to go see them, but this was the first time that I've really seen or talked in depth with my friend since my autism diagnosis. And so there was a lot of interesting kind of things with that this weekend. One thing, I'm very open with my diagnosis, so she knew I was autistic before it came because, we're our Facebook friends and we have texted back and forth a little bit, but we just haven't had a really long conversation since my diagnosis. Well, one thing that I've noticed is, and this weekend kind of really pointed that out a little bit too, was before my diagnosis, I always knew that I never quite fit in places. I was always on the outside looking in. I knew I struggled with friendships. I knew I struggled with trying to define friendships, but I never knew why. After the diagnosis, now I know, oh, that's an autistic trait. That's, like everything that I was doing, autistic traits this weekend. And before I did them, I just didn't know what they were, right? Like, I'm definitely one for the good info dump. Before, I would info dump on friends, and then later I'd be like, oh my God, I talked too long. I didn't give that person time to talk. I need to do better. Like, that's what I would tell myself. Now, this time, as I was doing the info dump, I was now aware of what it was and what I was doing, and yet I still could not stop myself from doing info dumps on my friends. And it's like, sorry guys, I know I'm doing the info dump. I gotta get it out. And they're very sweet and understanding, but it's just like being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it and still not really being able to stop. And not that you want to stop, you want to be around people who appreciate that and get it, but I'm still learning and processing all of what it is too. So I was going to edit out that dog bark, but seeing my reaction just so clearly shows sensory processing and how loud noises literally just make my entire body want to seize up. I'm still learning and processing it all too. So I'm not quite 100%. I feel like I'm I don't know. We're never who we're going to be. We're always growing, but I feel like I'm still very much in the processing stage of my diagnosis. So that was an interesting part of this weekend, being around people and understanding your autism traits now after a diagnosis, and then just kind of like almost like watching yourself be autistic, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if you kind of relate to that. The second thing that I kind of am aware of is a lot of times when you think of anxiety, like a lot of times we want to do things to reduce our anxiety and get rid of anxiety. But I think a lot of times anxiety, it just really goes hand in hand with autism. Like we can try to reduce the anxiety as much as possible, but sometimes for me that would mean not doing things. And I don't want to not do things with my life. I'm also ADHD, and I think other autistic people too, ADHD or not, we don't want to just stay at home and not do things. We like our routine, but there's a wide world out there. Some people may not. They may be comfortable with just their day-to-day routine, and that is like happiness for them, and they shouldn't be pushed or shamed or guilted out of a simple life. I think a lot of times in our modern society, people look down on people who want just to lead a simple life. There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. For me personally, I like a simple life most of the time. But then I do want to go out and do something new. I was going to say adventurous, and it is adventurous for me, the things that that I'm talking about, but they're not necessarily adventurous on a grand scheme of things, like for other people. Like somebody who would call themselves an adventurous person, the things that I would say are adventurous are like everyday living for them, probably. But that's okay. We're not being judgmental here. But what I was going to say is so for me, I gotta right now in the process where I'm at right now is being okay with some anxiety and doing the thing anyway. Like trying to reduce as much as possible, but still doing the thing. So driving to Seattle, I'm fine driving on long car trips for myself. I've done that a lot in my life, and I'm really comfortable with that. But like driving in big cities, I grew up in Houston, so again, comfort, but still anxious, if that makes sense. I learned to drive in Houston, Texas, one of the biggest cities in the world. So I'm comfortable with freeway driving. It still makes me anxious every time I do it, especially because now I don't do it as often. So I get out of practice. Practice makes perfect, right? Or practice makes progress. I don't know. I'm just I wanted to pop on the camera tonight because I just wanted to get all these thoughts out. Practice, so going to Seattle, and they live basically in downtown Seattle. So navigating downtown streets, very anxiety for me. And then we went out to dinner, and there's just like a lot of anxieties around going to a social place with somebody because not knowing the restaurant, there's a new restaurant, which I'm a sensory seeker with food. I love trying new foods. So I want to do these things, but actually going to the new restaurant is still anxiety for me. It's yin, right? It's like I want it and it sucks. So, oh gosh, the part that I'm doing right now or processing and trying to figure out is I guess I just need to learn what is an amount of anxiety that I can handle to do exciting new things, and then I guess make sure I can find time to decompress and regulate after that. So yeah, it's like lessening anxiety, but I don't know that I'll ever get rid of all my anxieties. I don't know if that's even the goal. Anyway, I don't really have a point to this. It's just some ponderings that I'm in the process. I've talked in a couple of my videos about how My inner monologue is very weak, if maybe almost non-existent, and I process out loud. This is how I kind of figure things out that I'm working on through my head. And I figured, I want to vlog it because other people might be going through similar things. So if you are, make sure you like this video, comment down below so that we can build community. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.